Hey guys, it's Teaksy here, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to be stepping away from Black Ops Cold War to discuss whether or not Modern Warfare 3 is worth playing and or buying in 2024. Now I know many of you out there have probably got your Treyarch hats on and you're looking forward to Black Ops 6, and I myself am very similar to that, and I know there's a lot of us in the community that were not very happy with the way Modern Warfare 3 was put together and sold to us. A lot of selling points were basic issues from Modern Warfare 2, and basically MWII is what Modern Warfare 2 should have been, and they charged us full price for it. But having said that, I've been back on Modern Warfare 3 throughout Season 4, and I've actually been kind of enjoying the game quite a bit. I didn't play it at all through Season 3, so putting all of the kind of obvious rubbish aside that we know about this game, I'm going to talk in the next 10 or 15 minutes about some of the positives in Modern Warfare 3, and just stick with me. If you get to the end of the video and you still hate it, that's fine, but let's jump into it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the maps. So I feel like the maps was one of the biggest issues on release for Modern Warfare 3, because they released the game with all of the original maps from Modern Warfare 2, and they kind of used this as a selling point for the game, like, look, we're bringing all these classic maps back. And myself included, I'll hold my hands up, I was excited, right? Modern Warfare 2 2009 is my favourite Call of Duty of all time, and seeing all these maps remastered in really high definition, I thought, oh, this looks awesome. But I very quickly realised just how many of the maps suck to play, specifically on Modern Warfare 3. Now I know there were some maps that I already knew were going to be bad, like, Derail and Underpass and Wasteland, maps that were just really too big. But, a lot of the maps just didn't work in Modern Warfare 3, and then that kind of led to everybody voting for the good maps, which then became boring very quickly because the game just felt like it had nothing fresh in it, right? These are maps that we've played so many times in the history of COD, and then we were just map voting for like High Rise and Terminal, and it just very quickly, the game became quite boring. So we're on the verge now of going into Season 5, and there's a whole load of new maps that have been added to the game since the release, and I think the majority of them are very good, right? And I feel that as well. I don't feel quite so bad now if I play like a High Rise or a Skid Row, because more often than not, it's mixed in with the new maps and you just get a much better variety. And for me, this instantly improved my experience, right? Because I just feel like having new maps kind of makes you feel like you're playing something new rather than something that, I'm not against remastered maps, but yeah, I was excited for all the original Modern Warfare 2 maps, but quite quickly I thought that was quite a big problem on release for Modern Warfare 3. So next I want to talk about skill-based matchmaking. Now, I feel like they could make the best game in the world. They could literally remaster Black Ops 2 on Modern Warfare 2 2009, and skill-based matchmaking, as we know it, would still be a massive dark cloud hanging over the game. Now, in my opinion, newer Call of Duties tend to suck or be a little bit more difficult in the early stages, right? Because that's when everybody's playing it and the skill-based matchmaking's cranked up. And for example, with Modern Warfare 3 when it released, there was no Warzone and there was no ranked play, so absolutely everybody who had the game was in multiplayer, just using it to level up their weapons, and it was just an absolutely crazy manipulated experience, as we've come to know with Call of Duty. Now, mixing this in with the map issues and Shipment being a go-to quite early on, right? Shipment got added in quite early, and then we just started playing lots of Shipment. The game was just very unenjoyable very, very quickly. Now, however, having said this, with all of the Call of Duties since the strict skill-based matchmaking era, whenever that may be, I know there's a lot of people saying that skill-based has been around for a lot longer than we realised, but it's definitely been a big talking point since, let's say, Modern Warfare 2019. I feel like the game is much better, right? There's still a lot of good players playing, there's still a lot of good lobbies, but I feel like the game already has a much better variety, and again, I think this instantly improves the experience, right? I feel like probably a lot of people have walked away from Modern Warfare 3. I know the game's not incredibly popular, so that's probably helping, but I think, straight away, maps and slightly better lobbies has, definitely helped, improve the experience for me. Now, looking at kill streaks, streaks now overlap, which I think adds a really cool dynamic to the game. I think overlapping streaks just allows you to play a lot more freely. I think this is another W within Modern Warfare 3 at the moment, and you can really get some streaks going, and it just kind of feels nice to be able to maximize your streaks and then go back on a streak again without having to die. I think it's a, a really cool thing. Now, regardless of your thoughts on Modern Warfare 3 and your thoughts on Sledgehammer as a studio, they are doing a great job with adding content into the game. Now, I'll admit I'm not a big fan of everything that's been added into the game, but I think that's just the kind of route that COD's going down now, you know, with modern gaming and what Fortnite and other games have done. I think COD is following that in some ways, and you know, I'm not always a huge fan of it, but there are plenty of new things being added to the game. You know, specifically along the way, we've had a lot of maps. I think in Season 5 we're getting maybe 1 or 2 new maps, and I think maybe like a different version of like Rust and maybe Shipment or something, so I'm not 100% sure on that. But they are adding a lot of things into the game. You know, there's constant playlist updates, which is like kind of a simple thing that you miss when you play old CODs, right? You know, I continue to play lots of Black Ops Cold War, and the playlists have been the same for absolutely, you know, forever, whereas in Modern Warfare 3 you get some pretty cool playlists being added. I'm not saying all of them are good, but it's just, you know, you keep getting this content added. You know, there's been some cool weapons added as well, such as like the Bal 27 from Advanced Warfare and the Car 98, which is very similar to Car 98 in Modern Warfare 2019, and there's plenty of game modes as well, and there's weapon prestige camo. So yeah, I think they are doing a good job with content. They are adding a lot of post-release content into the game. You know, whether it's all great, I'm not saying it is, but it's still good to see that they are adding a lot of content into it. Now, I wanted to touch very quickly on this video in cheating. I did a video about Black Ops Cold War earlier this year, and I then had to do kind of a separate video talking about cheating, so I thought I'd just include something here in this one. As far as pubs go, I haven't ran into a single cheater since being back on the game throughout Season 4. That's not to say that cheaters are not there. I think cheating is a big issue in gaming now, you know, in modern day gaming, and I think everybody is aware of that. I feel like ranked play is probably still the worst place for it. You know, I've not played ranked play for quite some time, but I know ranked play is normally, you know, infested with, you know, cheaters. So that's maybe something worth noting if you're kind of a competitive player. But, you know, overall, I haven't had my experience ruined by cheaters yet. So I can't really, I think it's okay, right? You might run into some from time to time, but I think that's more of a modern day gaming thing rather than, you know, a Modern Warfare 3 thing. So very quickly touching on the movement as well. The movement is very similar to Modern Warfare 2019 and Vanguard. I know some people love that, some people might hate it. It's very smooth, you know, it's very fluent. It's quite fast paced as well, especially with tac sprint being in the game. You can move around very, very quickly. And the gunsmith's okay in Modern Warfare 3. I just think there's just a ridiculous amount of weapons and attachments, right? Because you've got all the Modern Warfare 2 weapons in the game and an unbelievable amount of attachments. And I'll be honest, when I'm making classes on Modern Warfare 3 now, more often than not, I just use the same sort of attachments across all guns because I just, one, I don't really know what I'm looking at, and two, I just can't be bothered to scroll through like 30, 40, 50 attachments. I'd rather just put something on, and if it works, it works. So overall, guys, putting everything aside that we mentioned at the start of this video, Modern Warfare 3 for me is actually a decent COD, all things considered, right? It's still very populated, as you would expect. You know, I know the game's still in its first year. You know, people, of course, a lot of people have moved away from the game, but there's still a lot of people playing it. The search times are not amazing, but they're not terrible, right? I think it, you know, depends a lot on what playlist you're in, and I think that's nothing out of the ordinary as well for modern CODs. I think with skill-based matchmaking, it takes a little bit longer to search for games anyway, because it has to do all its stuff in the background. And I will say as well that the stats breakdown in Modern Warfare 3 is one of the best I've ever seen, right? Broken down by game modes and maps. It's really cool. I mean, some people might not care for stats, but I love being able to see win, loss, KD across different modes, and then when it's on maps as well, it's kind of cool to see which map you're kind of performing best on. So I'm not saying that Modern Warfare 3 is the best game in the world, right? But certainly it's a much more enjoyable game, in my opinion, now than it was on release. And I think it's defo worth revisiting if you already own this game, right? In terms of buying the game, it still holds a decent price, right? The game is still the most recent Call of Duty. So unless you're 100% not going to get Black Ops 6, I would say it's probably not worth buying, unless you're like a huge fan of the Modern Warfare series. But I would imagine if you're a huge fan of the Modern Warfare series, you probably already own this game. I wouldn't say it's worth buying it now, really. That's just my honest opinion, not while it still holds a decent price. And like I say, I feel like the game probably gets more hate than it deserves, purely based on how it was sold to us. But I can understand why the community was so frustrated, because myself included, right? You know, this is what Modern Warfare 2 should have been. And if they'd released this game as Modern Warfare 2, with all the Modern Warfare 2 maps, I think everybody would have been alright with it, and then they could have had a load of new stuff in. But using the Modern Warfare 2 maps as a selling point, and, you know, putting like Ninja in the game and just all the rubbish things that were in Modern Warfare 2, and then correcting them and adding in these maps and then selling it to us full price. You know, it's a little bit naughty, and I can understand why the community was frustrated. But all those things aside, I think the Modern Warfare 3 is a decent Call of Duty, all things considered. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. I hope you found today's video useful. If you have, please do hit the like button down below, and feel free to let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Where do you stand on Modern Warfare 3? Do you just completely hate it? Have you just said, I'm done with it, I'm looking to Black Ops 6? Are you still playing it? Do you enjoy it? Where does it rank for you? Let me know down in the comments. If you're brand new around here and want to find your way back for more, please do consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, guys, I hope everyone's a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.